Hey everybody, it's Edwardo Jackson coming with our first initial reactions to the DraftStream game for Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. And let's see how we did. First of all, we have 8 players this week. Thanks so much for everyone participating. For those non-Cinema Draft employees, y'all are vying for a $50 prize pool, $35 to first, $15 to second. Looks like okay, it looks like about half and half. So basically 4 players vying for 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 5 players vying for 2 slots. All right, so let's take a look at some of these call sheets, and also we'll do a little compare and contrast to some of the knowledge we already know from last week's action and call sheets. And another shout out to last week. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Less than 2 points separating first from second. You love to see that kind of action. And look at this between third and fourth. Swag official being myself, I eked out third place by 0.02 points. And so tiebreakers might come into play this week. So hopefully you all filled out your tiebreakers. All right, so let's start with my call sheet. And my basic theory was something that we've learned from the previous 2 weeks. Documentaries do well. So I loaded up on documentaries, Beastie Boys story, We're Here. That's a LGBTQ documentary, which actually is on right now on HBO. And then I didn't have much money left over, so then I went for Dying for Motherhood, a couple of headliners there. And as a reminder, headliners are very important as part of your strategy. You get a 40% bonus for headliner points. So if a score comes in here, say 100 points, then your headliner score right here will be 140. All right. So very important to have your headliners together if you can, but you must have at least one headliner, one co-star, one day player. And also I stuck in Bad Education too. 12,000. It's not a cheap roster spot, but one thing we already knew, if you click through to its IMDb, it already has a pretty hefty user score. This must have come out maybe at some festival or something, or maybe it's an acquisition, but a lot of people have already seen Bad Education and gave it a 7.3. So that actually bodes well for its final score, because as we know, we weight 60% bonus on the user score from IMDb and the audience score from RT. So that's an auspicious start for Bad Education. So that was my strategy. 92% guess for the highest RT score, and 9.2. I guess that's kind of lazy of me, but whatever. 9.2 IMDb highest user score. So we'll see how that shakes out. Moses Cone, Cinema Draft Advisor, my boy Anton. What up? Welcome to the party. Thanks for playing. So he also went documentary heavy. 3 Beastie Boys, 2 cast members from We're Here. So roughly half his call sheet consists of documentary cast. Never Have I Ever is a bit of a wild card. And this also plays into some strategy I was interested in trying out this week, because Never Have I Ever is a Netflix TV series backed by Mindy Kaling, also known of The Office and The Mindy Show. And the reason why I think this is interesting is that it premieres on Monday. And as you know, this game ends Monday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. So it'll be interesting to see if there are enough people who actually see this show for it to register in the audience ratings. Because as we know, the audience ratings are pretty much paramount in this game. And so it'll be interesting to see if we have any audience ratings for this, or if it'll just be default scores. And just to brush people up, or for the newbies in the game, these are our default scores. And you get a default score when there isn't a score available from one of the categories. So for example, here, Rotten Tomatoes critic score is 52, which is based on a historical average of Rotten Tomatoes scores. So, for example, if, let's say, Floored, another show that debuts on Monday and by Quibi, if Floored doesn't get a Rotten Tomatoes score, then we'll just put in 52 as its default score. And as an audience score, 50, Metacritic's critic score, default score is 66, which I know sounds high, but I swear to you, that's what my research yielded, that their average critic score between TV shows and movies is a 66, which sounds wild high, but it is what it is. And then if we don't get an IMDb user score, which is pretty rare, we'll use the default score of 5.0. All right. So Moses Cone is kind of rolling the dice here a little bit with a Quibi show that debuts on Monday and a Netflix show which debuts on Monday also. But with Netflix, as we know, they'll usually come out at midnight Pacific time. So there'll be a good 12 hours for people to discover the show and to log a rating, and we'll see if it happens. If not, it could just get a default score. All right, Brown Baby, aka the Draft Mom. Hi, Mom. The Draft Mom. Now let's see what her strategy was this week. 1, 2, 3 4 defending Jacob actors. All right, that's the one starring Chris Evans and Michelle Dockery. And interesting. So she went with one headliner because these guys, they're actually pretty cheap. And as you'll notice with the pricing this week, as far as strategy goes, I flipped the script. Last week in our talent pool, when it came to pricing, we saw priced up a lot of fictional content. But now that we've seen 2 weeks worth of data showing that documentaries perform better, whereas documentaries this past week were pretty cheap, I flipped the script, and now documentaries are more expensive, and regular filmed content creative content is a little bit cheaper. But so it looks like Mom went with going after defending Jacob, going after a mostly creative content strategy. So we'll see how that works out for her. Almost no. Wow. Okay. So she has two casts from Beastie Boys. All right. So she's got a little bit of documentary love in there, but otherwise it's mostly creative content. So I can't say I love this strategy, Mom, but I wish you luck nonetheless. And Extraction, I'm going to watch Extraction. It's an action movie, far-flung locales. I think it's set in like Bangladesh or something. Chris Hemsworth, running around blowing shit up. But from what I've seen with action movies on Netflix, they do not tend to rate out very well. But I could be wrong. It could be a crowd pleaser. The Roan, our boy Henry G. He looks like he's got a split strategy. So he's got his Beastie Boys, got a couple Beastie Boys, and then looks like he's also rolling the dice on Never Have I Ever and Floored, starring Liza Koshy. And then some defending Jacob. So all right, so actually it's more. It's about split. So I wouldn't necessarily call this documentary, but this is reality TV content, I believe. As I mentioned, Floored, Liza Koshy, she's a popular YouTube personality. I mean, not to sound like an old man right now, but she's definitely after my time. But it seems like it's some sort of reality type TV show. So it'll be interesting to see how that genre plays as compared to documentaries, as compared to creative content. Jaybird, welcome back, Jay. Jaybird, aka Jason Green. He was the best student in my poker training class damn near a decade ago. Ooh, it's not mad how the time flies. Also, he is a Cinema Draft OG. When we were playing these weekly for about 6 months before I was able to get Cinema Draft coded up and onto a website, he was pretty familiar with the whole spreadsheet system. So welcome back. Appreciate you coming out of retirement to show us whippersnappers a thing or two. And so since this is his first week playing the game, he said when he submitted his call sheet that he was basically, picking blind. But enjoy the 1 week head start, y'all, because once Jaybird gets a hold of some good game theory, he'll run with it. So it looks like he also went with, all right, so look at he spread the love around some. Got as many headliners as he could in there for the price. Both headliners of Bad Education, both headliners of the Beastie Boys, both headliners Never Have I Ever. Oh, okay, you got a 4-pack of Never Have I Ever. And then some Penny Dreadful, and then Matchmaker Mysteries. This is interesting only because, as we know, Hallmark hasn't really performed terribly well of late. Hallmark one here, as a matter of fact, they tend not to get even rated. See, it had default scores from Rotten Tomatoes, audience, and a Metacritic score. But its IMDb user score, it actually got a live rating, and it's not too bad, 6.5. So just beware of the Hallmark shows. I swear I don't put it in there to trip you guys up or anything. I do want to spread it around a little bit. I want some diversity. The great thing about the Cinema Draft game and DraftStream as well is that it gives you a chance to discover new titles you may not have known about and enjoy them for your own. Lifetime actually might be a sleeper here because Lifetime seems to have some crowd pleasers. Matter of fact, if I can look it up real quick. Our very first week's game, we had the Clark Sisters, which I believe was a Lifetime movie. And that was something else, only because it felt like it came out of nowhere, and it was a trending topic. Actually had a dozen of the top 25 trending topics that Saturday evening. All right, yeah, let's take a look at the very first one real quick. As you can see, there's been some format changes here and there. Yeah, the Clark Sisters Lifetime, pretty robust 83.9 scores, third overall total score that weekend. And that was largely on the strength of its IMDb user score. So you see it got default scores across the first three, but then that 8.6, actually the highest rated IMDb user score, or the highest rating IMDb user score of the week. I mean, it seems like Lifetime develops movies and content specifically for its niche, which tends to be, I don't know, middle-aged women, and just goes to town with it. So let's keep our eyes on Lifetime network programming shows, because this actually, well, this is Hallmark, but Hallmark is the opposite story. Hallmark, no one really seems to like them too much, but Lifetime, let's keep an eye on Lifetime. And Penny Dreadful. Now, I think I tried watching the first Penny Dreadful. This seems like a sequel series, and I was never quite a fan, but I guess it was popular enough to go like 3 or 4 seasons and to get this spinoff. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Drew Zod, Julian, welcome to the game, sir. I think Julian's played Cinema Draft before. This is his first time playing DraftStream. Welcome. And he also has, all right, so he spread the love around. 2-pack of Bad Education, 2-pack of Defending Jacob, 2-pack of Never Have I Ever, 2-pack of Extraction. This is Noah's Ark. We're gonna call this call sheet Noah's Ark. You got everything's in by twos, including Penny Dreadful here. It'll be interesting to see how this one performs. I've never seen a Noah's Ark call sheet before, so we'll keep our eye on that. But great to have you. Looking forward to seeing you play some more. Ringballs still stinging from his 1-point plus loss. This time he's got a 5-pack. All right, so he said, "Screw the documentaries." All right, so this is what we call in the DFS industry a fade. He is fading, as in avoiding all of the most of the documentaries. He's avoiding Beastie Boys, which seems like it's going to be a very popular pick. So he's betting that Bad Education, especially on the strength of that 7.3 early IMDb user score, is going to be strong enough to overcome the opportunity cost and the price, because Beastie Boys is our highest salaried program this week. He's going with a strong 5-pack of Bad Education, hoping that those user scores hold up, and then recovered on the cheap with a 2-pack of Floored, and then Then We're Here, headliner, Never Have I Ever headliner, and Defending Jacob headliner. I love the audaciousness of this plan. I mean, we only have a small sample size theater here, of course. We only have 2 weeks worth of data, but I love the balls, just totally avoiding what's going to be the most popular pick as far as the Beastie Boys being a documentary and one of a beloved 80s rap group that a lot of people will probably tap into and rate highly. So I am very intrigued by the strategy. Matter of fact, I think this might be the front runner this weekend because one thing that Ringballs gains by fading all that BC Boys action is that if BC Boys underperforms even slightly, a lot of us are kind of stuck. And then here he comes with his 7.3, possibly plus rated Bad Education, flying around on the outside, bypassing all of us stuck with a mediocre BC Boys score. I mean, it's risky. It's high upside. You know, it's high risk, high reward strategy. But you know what, Ringballs? I like it. All right. And then finally, Gamble 24x7, our returning champion, our all-time Cinema Draft money leader, with over $2,200 earned in our free-to-play game. And this also is a Noah's Ark. But this Noah's Ark it definitely leans into the Beastie Boys. Dying for Motherhood. All right, so I like the 2-pack going for the Lifetime the Lifetime fare. As we saw, Lifetime shows tend to aim pretty high or rank pretty high with their users. Yeah, 8.6 the first week and the second week. Oh, we didn't have one last week. Okay, so all right. Once again, everything's small sample size. You know, we're not going to bet the house on anything entirely, but I like the idea of gunning for another Lifetime high user rating here. Jury's out on Penny Dreadful. Extraction to me is a coin flip. Defending Jacob, I think, should be solid. We'll have to see. Actually, are there any ratings on it? Let's see if there are any ratings on it yet. Nope, no ratings on it yet. And then BC Boys Story actually comes out tomorrow. Shouldn't have a rating yet. Yeah, that one comes out tomorrow. And we're very excited about that. And yeah, so these are all really good looking call sheets, everybody. Remember to check back here throughout the weekend. We'll have updates Saturday after 12 p.m. Pacific time, Sunday after 12 p.m. Pacific time, and then the game will halt at Monday, 12 p.m. Pacific time, with official finalized results sometime later on that afternoon with a companion video. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and good luck.